Our opinions aren't too tough, rough, or gruff. We are proof that you don't have to be an expert to have an opinion. So just
Shut up and sit down.
This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff.
This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. Plus Alex.
That's me.
Plus,
Labor Day edition.
it is the Labor Day edition. Trying out a new background, trying new things. It's the start of college football. This is week 1, and I'm excited.
We're all gas, no breaks, baby.
That's right. Let's do it.
And today is Monday, September 5th. We have survived the off season officially at this point.
Yep, it is over.
Muff did not poop his pants. I mean, Jim.
Say
It already came out, and I was like, I have to finish the statement first. Jim did not
Yes.
poop his pants.
I did not poop my pants. Successful off season.
we survived. We made it through all of the college football conference jockeying for realignment.
Yep,
We tolerated the NFL preseason.
that happened.
We discussed all of our thoughts, predictions for the NFL and the Big Ten.
That is true.
We trudged through week 0 of college football.
Yep,
Mhm.
And
we did better than Scott Frost. Who's that?
Yeah, we did.
all to arrive at week 1 of college football, which we'll talk about. There were winners, there were losers. There were those that lost the Gatorade cooler color of their choice on that particular day.
And not in celebration.
No.
Negative. And there were some chants and banter for hashtag fire insert coach here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There are just 2 on the chopping block that most definitely.
Hashtag FSF and FJB?
Yeah.
No, not JB.
JF.
Sorry.
Yeah, JF.
FNB is where I was going.
We're working on the hashtags, folks.
Hashtag FNB.
Alex wants to FNB apparently.
I'm getting close.
Okay. This week we'll also have a farewell to an all-time great athlete from the tennis courts as Serena Williams finished out her career.
Yeah,
True legend. True legend.
I agree. She's a monster. I wouldn't want to get hit with her tennis racket,
I don't want to get with a tennis racket in general, but hers.
especially hers. No, that
Yeah.
was my exact comment before she started this whole US Open this time. I was like, she was warming up and swinging it around. And that's all I could think about was like, of all the people that would hit me with a tennis racket, she would be at the bottom of the list of people I'd
Do you
want.
often think about getting hit with a tennis racket?
When you live a lifestyle like mine, you have to think about that stuff.
Hard and fast. All gas, no brakes, baby.
All gas, no brakes.
As always, be sure to follow us at Sports Shop Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff W/Jim Abraham Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, like, retweet, poke.
Poke. Tickle.
Poke. Tickle. I don't think that's an option on
No, I
social
just made
media
that
yet.
one up.
I think it's a different platform
Made
that you're
that
one
speaking of.
Don't want to talk about it.
It's a
No.
dating platform. Keep things going in the right direction for us. Update on the Pirates, Alex.
They are 49-84. Actually, they're 49-85 technically because they lost today, which was
I think they're 49-84 officially.
oh, you fixed that. Sorry,
I think I made a
49-84 officially. They lost today. People are talking about the Yankees losing because they're losing, so they're distracted from the fact that the Pirates suck. But I'm pretty sure they won today, so we're getting dangerously close to the attention being back on the Pirates.
And the Yankees are losing, but they're still in first place.
Today I was watching a little bit of the Pirates game because I do that sometimes whenever I'm feeling very sadistic or masochistic, whatever that is. I think it's
You might be with the tennis racket and the Pirates
I think
fans.
masochistic is whenever you want harm to yourself. But they showed for like a solid 3 minutes these people braiding each other's hair in the stands, and I'm like, you might be a Pirates fan if this is what you see on TV instead of the baseball game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go Bucks.
Go Bucks. Which leads us into Jim.
The off season. Wait.
What?
It's
Sorry.
just
Hold on. Let's go back. That leads us into Jim.
football season.
There we go. Don't put us back. We're only moving forward.
I'm sorry. It was week 1. Got to get the jitters out. I
I
didn't throw
know.
up my
You're right,
Gatorade.
You're right. You did not throw up your Gatorade.
It is football season. We have 3 days, count them 1, 2, 3 days till NFL football starts, and we had college football week 1.
Wait,
Last
3 days. Yes.
drafted-
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
I drafted both my fantasy football teams.
Yes, did too. Took part in the last one tonight.
I know.
Feeling real good about that.
Still have one more.
I can't do 3.
Yeah, I can barely do 2.
2 I can do. 3 I start overlapping players and I don't know who to root for.
I'm in 5.
Oh, smoke, Muff. But good for you.
It's a time. I successfully drafted in your league today, Alex, even though
I know. I like your driving and drafting.
I really was only driving for one of them. I was exit hopping, and I
There you
missed
go.
2 picks because apparently my phone lost service. So
That's okay.
You still got Aaron Rodgers though.
that was one that I made myself.
Yeah.
So college football week 1. First, we'll get into some top 25 scores discussion, then we'll go through the Big 10, and then any other games and items in college football that we're speaking about. First, on Thursday, in top 25 action, we had number 12, Oklahoma State over Central Michigan, 58-44. Welcome back.
Sounds like a Big 12 score.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
Air raid. That was my air raid siren.
It sounded like gears shifting.
Sorry.
Also, we had number 22, Wake Forest over VMI, 44-10.
Yeah, I think it should be VMI.
And lastly, on Thursday, Alex, I'll let you talk about this game, the Backyard Brawl, the return of the Backyard Brawl.
I will speak if Jim stops doing that titty shake in my face.
You're welcome.
I have a lot of feelings on this game. WVU did lose by 1 touchdown. They did cover. 7.5 was the line. They covered. It was entertaining. It was a great game. We threw a pick 6 that put us in the toilet. Neil Brown punted on 4th and inches, and that hurt. Several targeting calls, all of which, except for the last one that actually was targeting, I think were called correctly. The missed catch at the end sucked, but I do, as much as it hurts to me to say, it was a missed catch.
Ooh, you know what? You got my respect today.
I will be an adult. I will be an adult about the situation.
Yeah.
We lost, but I think we lost when we didn't go for it on 4th and inches with a beast in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
So that wraps up our Pitt versus WV talk, and we're moving on.
Wait. What would it be if it wasn't a missed catch?
At the end of the game, is that what you're
But
talking
what would it be if it wasn't a missed catch? Like
a catch?
A catch.
No, I thought this was like, are other people
they
blaming this on something else?
Reviewed it.
Did you not see it?
They initially called it a catch on like the 1 yard line, and then
no. I'm talking about the ball that went through guy's hand for the pick.
And resulted in the pick 6.
Oh no, we're talking about the one that would have
at the end of the game
alive.
That was incomplete for sure.
Yeah.
Hold on, I think I have a special guest. First, this is Aunt Lisa.
Hi, Aunt Lisa.
Hi, Aunt Lisa.
Aunt Lisa, do you have any thoughts on the WVU Pitt game? You have to talk loud.
I went to bed before it was over because I was really tired because I teach 1st grade.
Right.
But I think we should have won.
Yeah. Yeah, Lisa. Yeah.
Perfect.
Good stuff, Aunt Lisa.
You did great, Aunt Lisa. So proud of you. Oh, okay. Watch your chairs.
Any other thoughts on the Backyard Brawl?
Alex, I'm gonna give respect where it's due.
Jesus, I didn't know you were serious. My sister drug Aunt Lisa into the podcast.
Yeah, because that's what she was yelling for you.
WVU played a good game. I will say that much.
It was the offensive future may be bright, Alex.
Yeah, it may be bright.
Yes.
And it's
it
the Big 12,
chaos.
so you don't need a defense
chaos.
if you're in the Big 12. So you're good.
Yeah.
Next, getting into the weekend's games, Friday, Saturday, we have number 15, Michigan State, taking care of business versus Western Michigan, 35-13. Side note, just so we all know, they have an offensive lineman by the name of John Coxlam.
First of all, a name.
Yes, I was going to say, if you're going to be an offensive lineman and have a cool name, I think that pretty much ranks at the top of the list.
That's up there, yeah.
That's it. Number 1, Bama gets it done, as usual, opening week, 55-0 over Utah State.
Yeah, playing no one. Good job, Bama.
Are you upset? What are you worried about? You have an issue?
I just think Bama plays some cakewalks. Like,
And Rutgers isn't a cakewalk for Ohio State?
no.
Okay.
Big Ten is the Big Ten.
Okay.
Utah State is not the SEC.
Okay. Number 3, Georgia shows the world that last year was no fluke, and the defense is still going to be dominant, at least for the time being, throttling number 11 Oregon 49-3.
Okay. Is this more Georgia is that good, or Bo Nix for Oregon sucks that bad?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that Oregon looked like dog shit, to be honest. They really did. But I think Georgia also was making a point that they are still Georgia and they are still good.
Well, because if we give this all the credit to Georgia, like
No.
Georgia's just handing the title now.
I think the problem is I'm giving 50-50 out. So I'm saying Oregon looked like crap.
Yeah.
But Georgia's also still really good. But I think there was a little bit of both playing in.
I think Georgia's going to be real tough, and I think Oregon sucks really bad. Really,
See,
really bad.
What I was hoping for was, since my family has now wrecked the podcast, I was hoping that my cousin's boyfriend, he is actually a true diehard Georgia Bulldogs fan. And he was here and he went to the national championship game last week and we were talking about this game. And of course, in his mind, Georgia's just that good. But I would have liked to have invited him up for his opinion on the Georgia game as an actual Georgia fan.
Yeah.
But
that'd
we
be
were
fun.
arguing earlier, and I said that I think Oregon is just not that great.
Yeah, they
Yeah, I don't even know that I'd say Oregon's not that great, but I think Oregon played badly. Does that make sense? Like a good team can play badly. And I think that they aren't as good as everyone thinks they are, and they played badly. And Georgia's still really good.
we'll see.
That was a lot of words to say. I think a little bit of both.
We'll
To answer
see.
your question, Jim, Bo Nix, not the answer.
Yes,
No.
Bo Nix wasn't the answer for anyone. Bo Nix wasn't the answer for Auburn. He ain't the answer for Georgia.
Yeah.
Number 6, Texas A&M does what they're supposed to do, taking down Sam Houston State 31-0.
Yay.
In Billy Napier's first game in the Swamp, Florida gets a last-minute interception in the end zone.
Oh my gosh, that might have been one of my favorite games to watch all
It
week.
was a great game. I mean, I lost money on it, but still a great game.
I won money on it, but even then, just the hype. I mean, I had the gut feeling when they were in the Swamp and it was that loud. And Cam Rising had a great run right before that. I'll credit to him.
Mm-hmm.
But I had that gut feeling that Swamp was going to get so loud. There was no way they were scoring.
Yeah.
You know that feeling you get when you're watching a game and you're like, this
Yep.
is not going to end in Utah
The
State.
way you wanted to. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, the way I wanted to was Florida winning. But either way, I could just tell. It was
Yep.
loud.
I agree.
The fog was piped in. But
I think this loss should not affect the rank of Utah.
don't
One
think
bit.
Excuse
I don't
you?
know. I don't
Yep.
think it's not going to affect the rank of Utah, but I don't think that if Utah wins out and it comes down to them in the playoff versus someone else, I don't think this loss has as big of an effect as other losses might.
Muff, I understand. I agree with you, Alex. I think you're excuse you. And here's the problem: Utah's in the Pac-12. They're gonna play nobody. They're gonna get buried, and the big smack in the face for Utah is gonna be this damn Florida game. And I think Utah's a legitimate team. And I think Florida's a guy.
So then
good team.
Florida's a legitimate top 10 team for you. Then.
Yes, I agree. I think they're both very good teams. Of the games I watched, these two teams are great teams. So,
I disagree. But
well,
for another day.
okay. Well,
We
no
can
team
recap-
from
we
the
can-
Big
we can
Ten.
come back to this in 10 weeks.
No team from the Big Ten right now, including Ohio State, made me feel fantastic about the Big Ten.
That takes, you know how you earlier told me that you respected my opinion? I respect that take.
Thank you.
I don't respect the take on Florida, Utah, but
Number 8, Michigan. We're going to talk about this quickly and get it over with so Jim doesn't have to talk about it.
Go ahead.
Okay, number 8, Michigan may not have belonged on Jim's TV over the weekend, but they did show that maybe they still belong in the championship discussion. They handled Colorado State 51-7, which if you listen to the betting podcast, I almost took Colorado State plus the points. So I'm glad I did it.
I don't know like why that said championship. It's Colorado State. They didn't say, "Ooh, we're still championship contenders." You
I
beat
think that may
Colorado
have been
State.
specifically to stir the pot for you. I did not. Never mind.
That is,
Number
that
9,
is
Oklahoma.
bogus.
Number 9, Oklahoma.
it's bogus. What they did, they won. They did what they're supposed to do. They actually had offensive output, and their defense.
So that game kept them in the conversation for the championship.
I think it solidified that they should at least continue to be part of the discussion.
Okay. Okay.
Number 9, Oklahoma uses 21 points in the first quarter to coast to a 45-13 win over UTEP.
I didn't see this game. I don't know where I could have seen this game.
This was a sprinkle for me, and I won money on this one too.
There you go.
Good job.
Oklahoma to cover.
Number 10, Baylor dispatches of Albany 69-10.
Look at that. 2 Big 12 teams in a row. Taking care of business.
Against no one, Alex. Shut up.
Win's a win.
I'm sorry, I've been really well behaved. I just had to go after it once.
Got to start 1-0, Jim. You got to start 1-0. Start
All right. Yep.
Number 13, NC State survives a scare and a last-second field goal try by East Carolina, winning 21-10.
Freaking college kickers, man.
Man, North Carolina.
10 is 21-20.
The moon in North Carolina was messing up teams, man, because teams were. It was a wild weekend.
First of all, if I'm NC State, I am not opening my season going to ECU.
Never again. Correct.
And ECU did not look bad. I mean, I don't think they're going to win anything major, but
no, absolutely.
NC State did not look great for as much hype as they've been getting. This is their highest start in a while.
Yeah.
Number 14, USC announces to the Pac-12 and college football that they're not messing around this year, putting up 66 points in their win over Rice.
Here's another one of those that, like, yes, they destroyed Rice. I'm glad that USC looks good. But again, it's Rice. So I want to see the Utah USC, if that ever happens this year. I don't know if they're scheduled. I want to see USC against somebody. I want to see them actually make it happen.
USC is going to have to play someone good before they actually
right. They need a coming out party, and Rice ain't it.
Exactly. They can whip all these bad teams, but until they beat someone worth it, I'm not going to buy into the hype.
Yeah.
Not to be outdone in points, number 16, Miami tallies 70 en route to their 70-13 win over Bethune-Cookman.
Wow.
Next.
Sounds like Alex is going to Jim's side on these discussions.
Some of them I really am. Like Bethune-Cookman, come on. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that I don't agree that you have to start small and work up, but I'm saying I'm not getting excited until Miami beats someone.
Number 19, Arkansas uses a solid running attack by both the quarterback and running back and capitalizes on Cincinnati mistakes and poor discipline to beat the number 23
Holy
31
penalties.
Yeah.
I mean, so Luke Fickell is usually to me at least, the poster child for like calm, collected, like having a good time, rallying his boys. He looked mad at one point. Like his face was getting red and he was trying not to, but he was about to blow his top. I mean, I don't remember the exacts, so I'm sure I'm a little off on this, but they were 3 yards. They were first down, third goal to go, 3 yards, goal to go. And they ended up somehow out of field goal range with penalties. And then the best is they were still kind of in field goal range. It would have been a long field goal. And they got a penalty on that for the illegal formation and ended up outside and had to punt.
I will say, Luke Fickell, James Franklin, Mac Brown, even Ryan Day and the coach for Notre Dame, who I can't think of right now.
Freeman.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman. Guys who you think should have had their teams ready to go, like discipline-wise, conditioning-wise. I did not see the performances out of those teams that I thought should have been ready. And you can't blame it on the COVID year anymore. Like, they were not ready to go mentally. So I agree with that. Luke should have been pissed. His team did not look like a Luke Fickell disciplined team.
Number 20, Kentucky over Miami, Ohio, 37-13.
Rough start for Kentucky, and then they just took over, which is why I was like, oh, Miami of Ohio might win this on the betting show. And then Kentucky was Kentucky.
Will Levis, their quarterback, could also be at Penn State right now. Sean Clifford is the reason he's not there.
Drinking mayonnaise in his coffee and eating bananas with the peel on. Have you heard that? Yes, look it up. He drinks mayonnaise in his coffee and eats bananas with the peel on it.
Will Levis?
Who does?
Yes. From Kentucky, yes.
All right.
Look
Well,
it up later.
Well, number 21 Ole Miss beats Troy 28-10.
That's this now when you're talking about people you play that suck and you should have beat by more, that's alarming if I'm an Ole Miss fan.
yep.
I don't know. Troy always is competitive at some point in the year with some Power 5 team.
I don't know. All right.
Dana Holgerson led for
Boo.
Houston, ekes out a 37-35 win over UTSA, needing 3 overtimes to get the job done.
Dana Holgerson being Dana Holgerson,
Okay. I like that. That was a good take. That was a great take.
just being honest.
Number 25 BYU wins over South Florida 50-21.
That's solid.
They're gonna let us down like in week 6 or 7. Like that's what I thought about that. Like, damn it, I'm gonna get all bought into this, and they're gonna climb up the rankings, and I'm just gonna get let down.
Yes.
Number 4 Clemson will be taking on Georgia Tech today on Monday.
They
Probably
will.
take them up, just destroy them.
I agree. All right, Jim, have at it.
Ohio State, number 2, puts away Notre Dame in the second half using the ground game. Coming out on top 21-10. I'm going to keep the tradition alive and give you the Columbus feel. There was a lot of concern with CJ Stroud and his lack of running the ball and wanting to get physical in the first half. There was claims of like, this man is not elite. This man is wimpy. I'm one of those guys that was concerned, like, what is this guy doing? He open lanes and he just is hanging on to the ball. Everybody was pumped that the defense only gave up 10 points. Like, you would have thought we like won a championship because the defense looked so good. And that running back could be the second coming of Ezekiel Elliott, the way everybody's talking. So overall, I feel pretty good about it.
One game. It's one game.
Yeah.
Right? Just like everybody
Oh.
else, it's one game.
What do we got? Arkansas State next week. So
Oh, there's a
Yeah.
game. Oh my god.
that's what I mean. Like, it's Ohio State gets
Oh,
their softball
you're
next
putting
week.
You're putting a cake team in there?
Oh, absolutely.
Most of us
I-
are, let's be honest. Who's
I'm-
Penn State got next week?
Probably Rice.
It's a cake. It's a cakewalk game. So is WVU, so I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, we all get them. Doesn't mean I like it.
I think all three of us actually kind of started out strong and then end up with a cakewalk week 2.
Yeah.
Which brings us into the rest of the Big Ten. Minnesota over New Mexico State 38-0.
Good. That I feel real good about that. Because of our Big Ten breakdown, that's one that came through for us.
Right. Indiana takes the Mike Allstott hit stick pick of the week
Kapow, pow, pow.
and the parlay of death.
We haven't got a noise
We
for
don't
that.
have one for that, do we?
No.
Took
That's
that-
noise.
They put it to bed early. We were out of the running on Friday,
Yeah.
beating Illinois 23-20 on Friday night.
Illinois, I still contend, is a good team.
We had the reception or not reception in the end zone that may have turned the tide of the game. It was not the end of the game, so it wasn't
Mhm.
game deciding, but it could have made the momentum shift in that game if that were to have gone Illinois' way.
Yeah.
So screw the refs. Maryland over Buffalo, 31-0.
Good job, Maryland.
That
Let's keep
crowd,
that up.
That crowd, though. Did y'all see pictures of that?
No, was there like no one in the stands?
No one.
Let's
Wow.
3 years ago, I was at the Penn State Maryland game.
And
And-
nobody was there either. Just you.
The Penn State fans tried to, the college age students
Did
tried to
Keith-
take
Did Keith go with you?
they tried to take over the student section, and security had to kick them out because there were more Penn State fans going into the student section than there were students from Maryland.
Good grief.
So they had to keep the peace. Rutgers takes down Boston College 22-21.
I should probably wait for the betting season or betting show. I'm sorry to bring this one up.
Yeah, you leave that one alone, okay?
Okay, got ya.
And remember, I got a receipt for you too.
Hashtag
So we should-
FSF.
Yeah. Rutgers, we shouldn't say takes down. Rutgers squeaked by Boston College.
They were not. They were the underdogs.
They're the underdog, Jim.
They only won by a point. I understand the whole gambling thing that we do, but a Big Ten team squeaked by Boston College.
A team that they were supposed to lose against.
Okay, let's move on to Scott Frost, who in the first half I thought was going to lose another one.
To freaking North Dakota.
Right.
So the Cornhuskers win 38-17.
Thank God he rallied.
Thank God, or maybe he should have just lost it, and that could have been the nail in the coffin. That's kind of how I was looking at it.
Yeah.
Just waiting for it to happen.
Yes.
Iowa used 2 safeties in the second half to win a baseball game 7-3.
Painful.
Good grief.
So just keep in mind the score was 3-3 going into the second half, and Iowa got 2 safeties to get to 7 points.
So do you look at your offensive coordinator and fire him on Monday? Be like, you're done. Like, my defense had to win the game, literally.
You have.
Dude,
I don't know.
Potentially, yes.
If it wasn't South Dakota State, maybe not. But oof.
Good grief.
In the tale of good teams win and great teams cover, Penn State squeaks out a 35-31 win over Purdue Thursday night.
Alex, I'm only going to speak to you and not my other
Mhm.
cohort.
Okay.
Okay. Did you watch that game?
Yes.
Give me
I should say I watched the end of that game. Sorry.
I only watched the end of the game. Give me your unbiased take of what you saw.
Penn State holding on for their life.
Do you feel like those players were prepared?
I felt like they could have been more prepared.
Do you feel like those players looked like they were conditioned well?
I did not pay enough attention to have an accurate opinion of that.
Okay.
I do not think I expected more out of Penn State. How about that? That's my
Would
blame.
you put the blame for that performance on the quarterback or coaching?
Not the quarterback, but I don't know about coaching. I think overall it just was not a
Thank
complete game.
I rest my case.
He didn't put it on coaching. What
He
case,
didn't
are
put
you-
it on
what
the
case did
quarterback.
Alex just make for you?
He did not put it on the quarterback.
He didn't put it on
said as
coaching
a-
either.
I
I
said
didn't
as a
want him to put it on
team-
the quarterback. That's
I said
all
as
I
a
wanted.
team, I don't think it was as crisp as it could have been.
That's fine.
I'm
He
still
did
trying to
not
figure out
solely
where
put it
the,
on the
I'm trying to
quarterback.
figure out where the discipline was lacking. If you just watch the end of the game,
There were so many bad plays.
such as I need examples.
Muff. That next game I watch, I will at minute and time and series, I will write this stuff down for you.
I mean, if you watch the end, you just saw Joey Porter Jr. break up like 5 passes. And then you saw Sean Clifford take him down and score. I'm trying to figure out where the undiscipline was.
There were penalties. There was holding. It was just bad.
Okay.
Are you going to tell me they were a disciplined team and they look conditioned?
I don't know where the conditioning comes into play. I'm trying to figure that
They
out.
look
too.
gassed.
I don't remember seeing people look that gassed, Jim.
Okay. All right.
Get into
It
the
was
other
bad,
fun.
Mom.
Get into the other fun. Have
It's
at
a
it.
shit team.
The
fired James
Virginia
Franklin.
Tech game. I love, as a Mountaineer fan, I do love this. The Virginia Tech game was delayed because coaches got stuck on an elevator and then they lost the game, and a player got mad and pissy and hip checked an Old Dominion student who was rushing the field. Not just a light hip check, I mean a hip check into oblivion as they stormed the field after the upset.
More on this in quick thoughts, but there's more that happened at this game. But I want to
So-
save it for quick thoughts.
Right.
Yes, I was going to say, I'm glad we're bringing that part up. Oh, sorry, my little brother. Ben.
So real quick, Penn State had 5 penalties all game. So
We're at those probably the ones I saw, Muff. Ass.
just wanted to point that out.
Let's talk about our guys.
The Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina still have Grayson McCall, who's a quarterback last year, who we kind of slated as one of our guys. And
He's our guy. He's still got the mullet.
I just saw the highlights. I didn't see the actual game.
Okay.
But they take down the world's best soldiers, beating Army 38-28.
Still our guys.
Still our guys. Any other games?
Does he still have a mullet?
You just missed all that because you're busy
Sorry.
showing the room.
No, my little brother came in. There he is.
What are you eating?
What you got there, buddy?
Cake.
Nicholas, in other sports news, since we're on a sports talk, went from unranked cross country runner to 10th place
All right.
in the meet this week. There was a big hill. He beat kids up the hill.
That's what you do in cross country. So good job.
Good job.
Running
Moving on to the
is
US,
exciting.
running is exciting. It's a life skill. If
Cake
someone,
is exciting too.
he says cake is exciting too.
Yeah, it's balance.
Yeah.
All about balance.
Right. It's all about balance. Moving on to the USC Gamecocks.
Yeah.
There's some drama there.
Sir Big Spur is the name of the rooster who has attended the University of South Carolina athletic events since 1999. There have actually been multiple, as you can imagine, Sir Big Spurs over the time. They were brought to the games by Mary Snelling and her husband, Ron Albertelli. An article in the Post and Courier discusses their anger over Beth and Van Clark, who have succeeded them in providing a rooster for South Carolina. The Clarks use roosters with their combs, a red crest, which is a red crest on the rooster's head. And they said, we raise these Gamecocks to be mascots. The only reason they have them. Mascots need to be, I feel, branded with university. We also want the birds to be as healthy as possible. When the combs are off, they can't handle heat as well. But Albertelli said, a chicken is a chicken, but a fighting gamecock is something different. This is dumbing down the Gamecocks. I don't know what culture in our day and age means, but if it means making a gamecock look like a chicken or not hurting him because it might make the chicken feel good, it's not preserving what we've built. This is dumbing down our culture.
The show is now chicken related.
Wait, so apparently the naming of the rooster was a big thing. So the campus
It's not a rooster.
It's
It's a
gamecock.
fighting cock. So they sent out this poll to the university and wanted suggestions on what the name of the new rooster should be. And one of them was Cock Commander, and that is what everyone picked overwhelmingly. And the university quickly shut that down and said that it would be referred to as the General, which apparently was some famous general named, I don't know, it was a whole story. But it became back to, they're like, let's just keep it Sir Big Spur and play it safe. But the best part of the whole thing is when I say overwhelmingly, I mean like 7,000 to like the next closest was like 400 votes.
I just want to know, like, we've all A, worked on a college campus, and B, went to college. I want to know, like, we sit around a meeting, right? And we go, you know what, guys? Let's send it out to a campus what we should name the rooster. And how did they not think it was going to be Cock?
Exactly. And how did we not think it would go badly?
It was, yeah, that was not going to end well.
Here we go. It's chicken
Horrible.
related. We have continued to breach that topic. Anything else in the college games this week?
How many kids do we see puke?
I saw two.
At least one.
Yeah, I saw two. Blue and orange. Gatorade.
Yes.
I think my brothers thought that you said, how many kids do you see? And they're both holding up like two fingers. I'm like, we're talking about kids puking on the sideline of football games. This is what happens when you record when you're home.
Yeah.
Now they're looking at me like,
Moving into the NFL, while the offseason may now technically kind of be over for us, the NFL does keep the drama going, and it's at 11 at
Drama.
all times.
I'm pumped.
Russ Wilson inks a 5-year, $245 million contract extension with the Broncos, 165 guaranteed, that ties Wilson to Denver for the next 7 years. Do we think this is a good move for the Broncos?
Historically, yes. I was reading an article today that, like, when they make a move like this, it tends to lead to a Super Bowl.
you're not wrong, Peyton Manning.
John
Like
Elway.
Elway, same thing.
Yep. Jimmy G will be coming back while he's with the 49ers, but he'll be staying with the 49ers this year after they reworked his deal, including a no trade and no tag clause, so he's free to do what he wants after this year. He says he just isn't trying to ruffle any feathers with the organization and Trey Lance. Does Jimmy G seem too content in his backup role?
I think Jimmy G is taking the money and running.
Smart man. He
He's
knows
like
what's up.
he's like turning into like a Charlie Batch. Serviceable backup. He'll take the money. He'll hang out, be in the NFL, ride into the sunset.
Yeah.
Do we think that he's not one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the league right now?
He's on the bottom end if he is.
Even if he is, like, I'd much rather be in San Francisco than somewhere cold. Like
Would you rather play?
he's probably the smartest of the 32.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm not going to go to a crappy team. I'm just going to take my paycheck and hang out somewhere nice.
Oh, I'll go be one of the 7 in Cleveland, or I'll be the backup in San Francisco.
Exactly.
One of the 7 in Cleveland. Yeah, they might need 7 by the time the year's done.
Right.
The Eagles trade wide receiver Jalen Reagor to the Vikings for future draft picks. Will Reagor see a resurgence in Minnesota?
He'll be a good 3.
We got Justin Jefferson,
Thielen.
So he's I'm
but
assuming they're hoping he's going to compete for the 3. He's probably not going to step in as the 3.
Right.
Who's going to step in as a 3? Jefferson, Thielen.
And then him, I would say.
Wait a second.
Look at the
But you said he wasn't going to step in as the 3. That's what I was.
I hope he competes. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I see Muff's point. Like,
I honestly think if Jalen Reagor comes out and he's top notch Jalen Reagor, I think he can compete with Thielen at this point in Thielen's career.
There's a good chance of that. KJ Osborne is their current 3.
Oh yeah. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think that I'd rather have Reagor than KJ Osborne.
The Steelers pick up linebacker Malik Reed from the Broncos for a 2023 6th-round pick. But the Steelers also in return get a 2023 7th-round pick. Many people, especially in Pittsburgh, are saying this is a huge bargain for the Steelers, who get a solid outside linebacker to spell TJ Watt, and who has had 13 sacks over the past 2 seasons.
okay. What do you want me to say about that?
We're looking for Alex's opinion because I know you don't care on this.
I think that
I think you were distracted with the cake.
I'm not distracted with cake. I was distracted by the kid eating the cake. I will say that I think that we have done well in the past picking up some somewhat veteran defenders for bargains. And I think that we have a couple holes that could be filled by a veteran presence. So I don't hate this.
Yeah, I think it's a solid signing, and especially getting into the start of the season.
Yeah, I have all positive vibes about this.
Okay. The Bills released tight end O.J. Howard, a player that can't seem to find a home and has always been linked to having a high ceiling in the league, but never panning out. Okay, good. Glad we can talk about it.
I don't like.
I was thinking it. I don't know why it takes me to formulate myself.
I don't know what to think about that. Like,
he seems to be a player that always like comes into a team and they have high hopes, but then nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
He doesn't produce on the field, and in this case, he's just straight up released.
Are you foreshadowing for Mount Massive? For people that always hope for the best, and
I mean, yeah, sure, that is foreshadowing, but not about this player.
Yes. Oh, I mean, yeah. The Titans
Defensive end Harold Landry suffered a torn ACL last Wednesday in practice and will be out for the season. He's coming off a Pro Bowl season, which included 12 sacks. Big loss for the Titans.
This to me seems like a thing. Like, aren't the Titans always facing some type of injury?
Yes. Clue in Derrick Henry's injury.
I would be concerned. Like, I would be investigating the injury issues if I was the owner. Like, well, is it my practice field? Is it my medical staff? Is it my guys' training regimen after or during the off season? I would be tired of losing big deal players.
Yeah, it's like how many injuries do you go through before you take a look at yourself?
Right.
It's a good thought. I agree. If this is a theme, then we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Since this will wrap up kind of our last discussion before NFL football starts, we have to give our Super Bowl predictions.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So we'll start with Alex. Alex, who do you have going to the Super Bowl this year?
Of Bills versus Lions.
Jim?
I got the Bills and the Bucks.
And I have the Bills taking on the Super Bowl defending champion Rams.
Jim, no comment?
No, I could see the Lions. I've been watching the HBO Hard Knocks, man. So
honestly, I was looking and my gut reaction was to take Bills Rams. But I was like, I'm not going to go and do the same thing. So I was like, who would I take if I didn't take the Rams? And I was like, honestly, I'm rooting for the Lions. So I'm all in. Bills, Lions. Super Bowl.
I mean, I watch Hard Knocks. Let's go.
The Lions are amped up. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Let's hope it keeps going.
So we're a lot of college teams on Saturday. Didn't pan out too well, Alex,
Touche.
including the Mountaineers. But that's is what it is.
I did not expect that from you, Muff.
And that wraps up college football week 1 in the precursor to the NFL in this rendition of
The football season. I got
He wanted to do it.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah, Jim.
I live in Ohio, and I've noticed some things. I live in Columbus,
Okay.
as you know,
hmm
and I've noticed a plethora of Michigan fans.
Oh yeah.
I work with 2 of them,
Really?
and I don't stir the pot. I don't begrudge them because I work with them.
But you
And
want
I want to, of course, but I've been listening to, they Friday is wear your team gear, and they wear their Michigan shirts, and I've been listening to them catch flack for why are you wearing the Michigan gear? And one guy says, I lived in Michigan. I've been a diehard Michigan fan my whole life. He's got the state of Michigan tattooed to him. I think that's acceptable,
That's
right?
reasonable. Yeah, that's reasonable. Absolutely.
The other one says, I didn't like Ohio State because I wanted to be different as a kid. So I like
As long as
Michigan.
it was as a kid, yeah.
Right. So there's logic there, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was listening to another person,
Mhm.
okay? And this person said, well, when I was a kid, I lived in Michigan. Okay, so you're thinking, all right, that's starting to make sense.
Yeah.
And I went to a football game for the Lions. I went to a signing. I'm sorry. I went to a signing for this player, and my brothers and I were in line, and my brother pushed me out of line, and the player's mom saw me, and I was crying, and the player's mom took me up to the player, and I got my autograph. I did an interview with the player, like I got to be on TV with the player, and that was for the Detroit Lions. So now I'm a Michigan fan.
That's weird. Yeah, no. Now, if he'd have said I was from Michigan and was a Michigan fan, okay.
That makes
If
sense.
that was the reason that you're a Michigan fan, that doesn't make sense. Now, if you told me you were a Detroit Lions fan because of that, okay.
Right. I heard that and I was like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So I just wanted to get your take, Alex, on this Hey Alex segment. Like, what would qualify it being okay to say, if you're in the state of West Virginia, to be a Pitt fan?
If you were born and raised in Pittsburgh,
Uh-huh.
or if your family was born and raised in Pittsburgh, like if you were naturally born into a family that rooted for Pitt because your dad was from Pittsburgh or something like that,
Got it.
or you had a positive experience like that with Pitt, not the Steelers, with Pitt.
Thank you. And that wraps up Hey Alex. This is Mount Massive.
Yodel-hee-hoo.
This week's topic is the biggest bus of all time in football. So it could be pro or college. Can be from any time frame. I don't really care. So this is all time. This is just for you. I have my own reasonings. Sure, you guys have yours. I'm going to start with Muff. Go ahead.
Am I going 5-1 or just one at a time?
I didn't even rank mine, to tell you the truth. So it's however you want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say they're in any specific order. I just didn't know if we were going to 1-1-1, if we were just going to go down. So, first for me, as far as just first on a list, is Tony Mandarich, offensive tackle, Green Bay, who was an absolute animal at Michigan State. He was drafted in 1989, round 1, pick 2. Was an All-American offensive tackle. Was at the time called the best offensive line prospect ever by Sports Illustrated, and earned the nickname the Incredible Bulk. Fell very hard very quickly. Later admitted to steroid use in college and struggled with painkillers, and was out of the league within 2 years by 1991. And let's not forget that was the 89 was the draft class of Barry Sanders, and Barry Sanders was selected 1 pick after Tony Mandarich. So Green Bay missed out on that. Next up, I have Ryan Leaf, obviously quarterback. went to the San Diego Chargers from Washington State. He was drafted pick 2, round 1. Gone down in infamy as the worst draft pick in NFL history by many people. Many felt that he was a better professional prospect than Peyton Manning at the time after his career at Washington State. His career, he threw only 13 touchdowns and 33 interceptions, out of league by 2002. And obviously he had a lot of other issues after that with substance abuse, and has become at this point a more positive figure when it comes to substance abuse and trying to steer people away from that lifestyle. Number 3, or the third person I have, is Fred Rouse, wide receiver for Florida State. At the time, he was the number 5 player nationally, number 3 wide receiver in the 2005 class. This was, again, just in his Florida State time. He was 6'4", 205, was one of those huge Florida prospects that they had coming out. He was the state's number 1 player, a 5-star recruit, top 5 nationally, and he was actually ranked regardless of position. I think he was coming out at that time as the athlete. But in his entire career, he finished with only 6 catches for 114 yards in a touchdown in 11 great games. He went to UTEP, then to JUCO. So obviously this is a fall from grace as far as athletic prowess. And he went to Florida State, and he had offers from pretty much everybody, including Alabama, Texas, Miami, and Florida. He was never in the NFL when undrafted in 2011. Next, I have quarterback Dane Christ, Notre Dame, and then ultimately at Kansas as well. He was a 5-star. He was the number 1 pro-style quarterback, number 22 overall in the 2008 incoming class for colleges. Didn't do anything his freshman year. He was the backup of Jimmy Clausen. He was expected to be the guy in 2010 and began the season as starter and took most of the snaps in his first 8 games, and he was benched following a loss to Navy in which he threw a pair of interceptions, and that would be his final start in a Notre Dame uniform, as then freshman Tommy Reese started the rest of the season. And Chris ended up transferring to Kansas for his final year of eligibility, where he went with Charlie Weiss at the time, and completed under 50% of his passes, only 4 touchdowns, 9 interceptions for a 1-11 Jayhawks team. But remember, it's Kansas, so what do you expect? So his entire career was over about 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, 5-10 as a starter. And last on my list is Ryan Perlew, quarterback LSU. This is the story of what could have been in Baton Rouge. 8 touchdown passes redshirt sophomore during the national title year in 2007. He had a lot of off the field issues, but he was the nation's number 1 dual threat quarterback under Les Miles, starred at Jacksonville State. But by that time, he was a forgotten talent, and he was already had that bust label. Submitted his name for the draft, but instead played for Hartford Colonials of the United Football League, and he did wind up winning a Super Bowl in the New York Jets organization. But that's about it. So there's my 5.
I'm gonna go next. This is very much based on my opinion and my life and how I feel. Ryan Leaf, because I'm a Chargers fan. If you need all the info, see Muff. RG3. I can give you all the stats, but basically, what a bright shining star, and then just faded away. Then my Ohio State busts. Tate Martell. He was rated as a 5-star recruit, 2nd best dual threat quarterback, 5th best quarterback in his class. Originally committed to the University of Washington. He changed his commitment to Texas A&M and then decommitted from there, finally landing at Ohio State. And then he transfers to Miami. He gets beat out there, switches to receiver, then back to quarterback, then gets suspended for a year, transfers to UNLV, gets hurt, and retires. Lots of potential there. Never lived up to the hype. Noah Spence. He was a 5-star defensive end in his first 2 seasons at Ohio State, 8 sacks as a sophomore, fails 2 drug tests, permanently ineligible in the Big Ten. He transfers to Eastern Kentucky. He made the most of his second chance, ended up going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but think about what he could have done at Ohio State. To me, that's a bust for me. And finally, for me, the big one, Maurice Claret. And his only season at Ohio State, he dominated, was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, won a national championship with Ohio State, but with his off-field issues, had to leave Ohio State, entered the draft 2 years later, tried to get in early, got selected by the Broncos in the 3rd round, never played an NFL snap. Probably could have been something had he kept his nose clean. Probably could have won more national titles.
Yeah.
Like, really kept his nose clean? Was that his issue?
I don't think that's maybe. I don't. He
I was
definitely was.
curious. I'd
involved.
never heard that. I was
Either
just curious if that
confirm or
really was an
deny.
issue or not.
That wasn't an issue, but I don't know if it was necessarily the nose variety.
Gotcha. Just curious, when you're talking about Ohio State, is Cardell Jones on like an honorable mention for you?
He wasn't. I mean, NFL wise, he was a bust, but the man took us to the Natty, so I can't.
Okay, that's what I was curious. Like in the NFL standard, would you see him as a bust?
Yes,
Okay.
but like he also like he gets this weird pass because he has the national title. He did do all those things at the end, and he gives back like crazy.
Okay.
So like I can't knock him. There's a lot of great things that man does in the city of Columbus. So, Alex.
So my list is more recent, and I think it comes down to how we talk frequently on Mount Massive that
Yes, we're old. You're young. We know.
I'm a different time frame, and mine are all I've realized A, quarterbacks, and B, good in college, bust to the NFL. So I just went based on what I think.
That's fair.
So I had Jamarcus Russell. He was the first overall draft pick in 2007, I believe, for the Oakland Raiders. Bust. Johnny Manziel, went to the NFL. Bust. Vince Young, bust. Matt Leinart, who was the 10th overall pick in 2006, won a national championship, won the Heisman as a junior. Bust. Brady Quinn. He left Notre Dame with 36 school records to do absolutely nothing early in the NFL. An honorable mention, Reggie Bush, because I do feel like he did something in the NFL, but not nearly what he could have done.
So, of your list,
Yes.
I thought about going your direction. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at Johnny Manziel,
Yes.
I look at Brady Quinn, because they were going to make, I was going to do almost identical to your list. Johnny Manziel and Brady Quinn, you kind of had bust written on them because they were going to bust. Vince Young, in that era of football, was more your Michael Vick type quarterback, if I'm not mistaken, right? And that was a new thing.
Yeah.
The only one that I was like, yeah, that's a legitimate, should have been something. Aside from Jamarcus Russell, who I didn't think about, Matt Leinart.
Yes.
Should have been something.
Yeah. When he went to Arizona, we all thought he was the next big thing there.
Yes. Like that's a Carson Wentz type quarterback.
Yeah.
And it was a bust.
Yeah, I will agree with you. The other three were kind of like good in college, but whether or not it translated to the NFL was kind of up for question.
Yeah.
But still, in my mind, like where I came from, I watched how good they were in college and wanted them to translate to the NFL, and they didn't.
Troy Smith is another one of those for Ohio State, where like everybody was like, "Oh, he's gonna," and I was like, "It's not gonna translate."
Maurice Claret almost made my list, and then I thought he'd be on yours, and he was gonna be an honorable mention type. Do I replace someone with him? And I was like, these were the five that naturally just came to my mind, so I wanted to stick with them.
So if you, the listener, have a Mount Massive topic, hit us up. And that's Mount Massive. This is Quick Thoughts.
That was long gong. Everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Quick Thoughts. I just gave it a long time, and I was like, oh, that was a long gong. Long gong's funny. Starting in college football, which is going to go right into it. The College Football Board of Managers decided to expand the college football playoff field to 12 teams by 2026, when the current contract expires, with talks of this starting as early as 2024. Initial thoughts And how will this change the landscape of college football and the realignment moving forward? Jim.
So, from the minor details that have leaked, I know that the SEC does not want it to start early. I know that the preliminary games could be at home games for some people, unless those people choose to put it in a dome. I know that there's 6 at-large bids and 6 conference bids. So the details are leaking slowly. I know that that's about it. I think it's good for football. I think it's great for the fans. The student, and we've all talked about that. I think Muff and I were screaming this, was what does this do for the college athlete? This is going to extend their time. This is going to take them away from the classroom. This is going to prolong injuries. I mean, this is still college, so it's good for the fan.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing it's good for is the fan. It's good for football. It's good for money. It's good for the TVs. It is terrible for the human student athlete.
Mhm.
It is, I think, actually a positive against some of this realignment because there's now there's less reason to have to go into super conferences if you're going to have 12 spots.
Yep.
So I think this ultimately benefits those non-Power 5 schools, or at least those schools that can't crack into a Power 5 conference.
Yeah.
Well, I think you take away that whole argument last year of whether or not Cincinnati should be in the playoff, because they're going to get in at that point, and if they can win their way up to it, they deserve it.
Yep, I agree.
I'm most concerned about how many games this is, because what this is, in my mind, could turn into is college players getting to the NFL damaged.
Yes.
It ruining the quality of the longevity of careers.
There's 2 extra games going to damage them.
Oh, it could be more than 2, right?
No.
Yeah, there's 12 teams. If you're
and the top 4 get a bye.
Right.
So then you play a game, and then there's 4 games.
It's up to 4 games doing a national championship.
So
they're playing an NFL. They're playing an NFL season.
So you're going 1, 2, 3 championship. So right now you go 1 championship. So you add the 1, 2. So it'd be 2 extra games if you're.
So that's 4 to win.
Yes, but you're going to play 2 to win in the setup now.
That's an 18-game season.
They're playing an NFL season.
A 16-game season.
I was going to say it's not 18.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're playing an old NFL season.
Right.
And the NFL players talk about how they're against this longer season because of what it does to their bodies. Just think if you play an extra, just say you're like an Alabama, Ohio State, or some school that's always in there, and there's a reason then to leave after year 2 or 3 and not want to play 4 years ever.
They don't want to play 4 years now.
The counter argument that was made on this weekend is this will encourage guys to stay because they have a shot at the national title. I'm with Muff in that's not going to happen.
No.
I would, as a person, I think will chase the national title, but it depends. Am I a outside?
If you have the NIL deal, maybe.
Yes. And am I on the outside fringe where I might play in the NFL or be like a late round draft pick, or am I, the Travion Henderson who's going to go in the first round? I mean, there's difference.
All right, Alex, you're the number one pick in the NFL draft, projected number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
Oh, then I would leave.
Okay.
But if I'm not until the 7th round pick, I'd probably stay and chase a national title.
I'm pretty sure you're still going to get signed for millions of dollars as the last pick of the draft.
Well, as the last pick, yeah, you get all the what is it, Mr.
Irrelevant.
Mr. Suck Ass or whatever.
Hey, you just got drafted to an NFL team. That's not true.
Right.
Okay, when did Muff get all defensive?
Because I think you're taking the wrong side of this argument, I think.
All right, moving on to the next quick thought. We've spent enough time, and it's not quick anymore. The Virginia Tech Athletic Department confirmed that there were items missing from the Virginia Tech locker room following the football game against Old Dominion in Norfolk Friday night. The university is working with law enforcement and Old Dominion University on the matter, and we will have no further comment. Muff?
Sure. I mean, who has ever been at a school and gone into other locker rooms and not looked around for stuff?
Me.
I mean, I'm gonna say that. I mean, I know people have taken stuff. I haven't taken anything, but
I was
I'm
like,
saying this isn't
I feel like
abnormal.
Muff just came out as a klepto.
I
right
was
there.
just
It's not
about to say, I feel
abnormal
like Muff
to
just said
happen.
he does that.
Oh, I didn't do it, but I know people that did.
So I guess does this not feel like Ocean's 11 a little bit? Like, hey, we're gonna trap the coaches in the elevator, and we're gonna rob the locker room. Like,
And then we're gonna beat him.
yeah, it just seems like a bad day for Virginia Tech.
And we're gonna get paid. We're gonna get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do all of this.
Yeah, we're just gonna rob them blind.
I have Virginia Tech fans out back. I should bring them. Here they're. All right, NFL. Brett Favre has been accused of making $1.1 million off motivational speeches that never actually happened. And he is now being pressed to pay back not only the speaking fees, which he has already done, but also the $228,000 interest to the auditor's office. How does this happen? And is Brett Favre an all-time bad guy for this, Jim?
I thought he was clear to this.
Like, he paid back the money.
So he's still in the shit for this?
It's the interest. Apparently, there's interest on whatever that 1.1 was that
Wow.
also
Okay.
accumulated that the
If
auditors.
it was
office
his
was like,
money and they paid him, how's their interest?
he well, I think what they're saying is he got paid and he never actually did these speaking engagements.
Yeah, Brett Favre is not a good dude.
What?
Alex,
He
I'm
sent
sorry,
unsolicited
Alex.
dick
I'm gonna
pics,
have to side
and
with
he's
you on this.
robbing people blind here.
Whatever. It was a picture. Just delete it. You don't want to see it.
Just 'cause
I'm
he
just
does
kidding.
the-
That was a joke. That was a joke for everyone listening. That was a joke.
'cause
don't
it's
send
Tommy
that.
Copper and
Don't send
Wranglers doesn't make him a
unsolicited
good person.
nude photos.
Oh yeah, that too.
All right, John Gruden. John Gruden says in a statement, "I'm ashamed what has come about in these emails. I'll make no excuses for it. It's shameful, but I'm a good person." We're back to the good person, bad person topic. Where do we fall on the John Gruden is a good person scale?
I think pretty soon, Alex, you're going to have to make a similar statement.
I'm a good person.
I think John Gruden's a racist bastard. That's what I think.
Yeah, you don't say stuff like, sorry, Muff, go ahead. You can have your quick thought first.
Yeah, when you have to say you're a good person, I think we all know that
Yeah.
that typically means
Right.
that there's a reason for you not to be, and you're just trying to make. It's like if I say it enough times, they'll believe me.
Right.
So
Not buying
John
it.
Gruden falls on like the one bush light scale, Alex. That's
Yeah,
how good of a person he
you're
is.
right. He's
Yeah.
like
Maybe a
bush
half,
guy.
maybe a half a can.
Might be a half can.
Yeah.
No. When you say stuff like that and you think no one's gonna read it, to me that means you meant it even more than if you just say it out loud. So
Right.
basketball. Let's get down to Dribble Town. I haven't said that in a while. 2 months to the day after dealing All NBA center Rudy Gobert to the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Jazz will trade All-Star guard Donovan Mitchell to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yahoo Sports' Chris Haynes reported. Cleveland will send Colin Sexton, Laurie McCannon, and Ochai Ajabi to Utah in the trade. The Cavaliers are betting their future on a young core, adding Mitchell to a roster that includes All-Stars Darius Garland and Jarrett Allen, and Rookie of the Year runner-up Evan Mobley. Will Cleveland become Believeland again? I don't even know whose turn it is. We all talked
It's
about
Muff.
this one.
Is it?
Yep.
No, Cleveland won't be. I mean, they'll be better. Don't get me wrong; they're going to be better. I think what really is, interesting. All of this is what are the Jazz lining up for? Many people think that they're lining up to somehow be in the LeBron conversation when his contract runs up in LA. So they just cleared, huge talent, but also huge salary or pending salary with Donovan Mitchell. So there's a lot of people thinking that they're trying to gear up for the next big name. And whether that's LeBron, whether that's KD, who knows? But that's what
Could be
people are saying.
Bronny.
Bronny's not going to come in at that big of a deal, though,
That's true.
as far as money. I mean, yeah, big person, big personality, but money-wise, not there yet.
I'm with you. I think they have a shot at being Believeland. Let's go Cleveland.
Says somebody from Ohio that likes to see Cleveland do well.
That's right.
Baseball. Albert Pujols chases 700 homers. Cardinals legend is now one short of A-Rod with number 695.
I think this is cool. I'm rooting for the guy.
I agree.
I don't know why baseball's not getting behind this enough.
Muff?
Go Albert. Somebody who has not been linked to any issues that have happened in baseball.
Right. Like, let's just get behind this.
Like, he's just been Mr. Consistent. I mean, yeah, he
Yeah.
had some very good years in St. Louis, but even after then, he just continues to just do his thing. So get it done, Albert.
Keeping with the baseball theme, Chicago White Sox star Dylan Cease was unhittable for 8 2/3 innings. Unfortunately, that wasn't quite enough. The Cy Young candidate took a no-hitter into the 9th inning on Saturday against the Minnesota Twins, but lost it with 2 outs when he faced the American League batting average leader Luis Arraez. Is there a V in there?
Yeah, Aris.
Arraez. The All-Star, I want to say Alvarez is all I want to say. Luis Arraez. We're very big baseball podcast. The All-Star infielder pulled a simple line drive into right field to end the bid for history.
Muff.
It sucks. I mean, it's a reason that it's a big deal to get a no-hitter. You got to do it for all 9 innings.
How would you feel like if you were the guy throwing it, Muff?
I was the guy throwing it and somebody got hit off of me.
And it's just a run-of-the-mill line drive.
That's baseball, baby.
I would be
absolutely
livid.
Pissed. Yes. Muff would be too. He's gonna act like the cool guy here. He'd be pissed.
I don't know that he
Did
would.
they win the game?
I don't know. Who cares?
Would you say that's baseball, baby?
What?
If it was on the last out of the game that you gave.
If I was the pitcher,
yes,
I would not be happy, but I mean, just as easily I could have had a 1-hit shutout.
that's true.
The hit happened in the 2nd inning, and
Close.
the result is still the same.
You're
It's
right.
just the timing of it that
Muff's
makes it.
Muff's a team player.
No, Muff
and I
secretly
would've
pulled
pissed
shit
hell
in
off.
so tight. He would go home and he would rage inside internally. I don't care what Muff says.
They won the game
All right.
13-0. The only reason he was still in the game is because of the no-hitter.
Speaking of fighting and raging, let's go to MMA.
Let's
where
rage.
Nate Diaz was one of the most.
All right, Nate Diaz.
Oh, Jim, calm down. It's not
Nate
like we correct
Diaz.
you every time.
Mr. Pronunciation. Nate Diaz was one of the most popular names.
Diaz, is it? Diaz.
Is set to launch his own combat sports promotion, Real Fight Inc. Sorry, I'm about to get. Hold on. We have another guest star. This is Aunt Lisa's husband, Uncle Rod.
A lot smarter about sports than Aunt Lisa.
Can we do it? We'll do a quick thought on what was your take on the WVU pick game?
I had a lot of takes on the WVU pick game. It was very upsetting at times because we missed opportunities, but so did they. But if you look back at Pitt and where they are and their defense line, if they truly are in the top 10 in the nation, we got a lot to look forward to because, we almost put up 200 yards rushing on them and threw the ball around pretty well. And if that's the case, coming out of the gate for us, I think we got a lot to be optimistic about. And if they end up being one of the top defensive lines in the nation.
How do you feel about Rich Rodriguez?
I mean, gosh, we don't have enough time. I mean, listen, the hatred is still strong. Let's put it that way, because that the Pitt week brought up a lot of emotions and a lot of discussion, and so I was at that last game.
So if you have to choose between Aunt Lisa's recap of the game and Uncle Rod's, I think Aunt Lisa's was a little more.
She's going to bring the crowd in.
There was a little more stats behind Aunt Lisa's. I don't know, my first grade teacher and I fell asleep.
Oh my God.
Yes, that was the stats. But she wanted WV to win. She made that clear.
Yeah, she definitely did.
So
She couldn't have came home.
What do we think of Jim's shirt?
Jim. Oh, I told him to put his titties away.
Oh, come on.
I wore it for Alex.
He wears that one just to get me fired up.
Yeah.
He's an Ohio State fan.
Is he?
Yeah.
Were you nervous last night at all?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
I was nervous for you because
I appreciate that.
that would have been a bad beat. And I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't nervous for you. I was really hoping for it, just because then we could just take a truce and not talk about either game and move on.
Yeah.
Nope, because I would have talked about
as
him
a
both.
West Virginia fan. I mean, it was a toss up of who you didn't want to cheer for. I mean, so I probably for the first time in my life, I chose Notre Dame because they were on the road and the underdog. So I just rolled with the underdog. But
That's fair.
I was pretty shocked that it was 10-7. Was it 10-7 at the half?
Yeah. It wasn't fun for me.
No, but I'll tell you what, I think then Ohio State, I think they started, the balls they were throwing in the second half that he was putting on the mark, there was no one getting to him. And let's face it, then they just had their way.
Exactly.
Did anyone stay up to watch Kent State, Washington last night?
No.
Well,
That was at the top of my list.
let me just tell you, a local kid,
Oh yeah,
Andrew Glass,
Wheeling Park.
buried a 42 and a 39-yarder within minutes of each other, and hit the 42 like nothing, and kicked off, and they fumbled and got it back. They went 3 and out and hit a 39-yarder within like almost a minute of each other. So
Dang.
Well, little Wheeling update.
Well, yeah, I mean against Washington, big crowd. Now they get to go to Oklahoma.
I was just gonna say, who are they playing this
They go
week?
from Washington to Oklahoma, then they're home against Long Island, I believe, and then they go back out to they got to go play Georgia. So it just keeps getting better.
It's gonna be rough.
Yeah, they're gonna take it.
I
Yeah,
think they're getting some money out of these deals, I hope.
absolutely. And actually, going back to Rich Rod, that is one thing that they did. WVU did is they were willing to play on Wednesday, Thursday nights against games like this, and he did build that up. We got some money coming in during his era by doing that.
Look at you. I would never known that.
There you go.
I'm old. Older.
I'm the young buck of
So
the
what's
group. So
the type of it?
that's our notes for our show.
Oh,
So we're doing quick thoughts now.
Poor Serena.
Wait, so we're doing quick thoughts now. So we were talking about MMA. Nate Diaz. Sorry, I almost said it
Fights
again.
next week, right?
He's one of the most popular names in MMA, and he's set to launch his own combat sports promotion, Real Fight Inc., which plans to host MMA, boxing, and jiu-jitsu events. A Diaz representative told MMA Junkie the process has began to receive licensure to promote in the state of California, where the Stockton native currently resides. Jim, you're a fight guy. What do you think about Nate Diaz in this?
I think Muff and I should own stock in this company. We should be small minority owners in this. That's what I think. I think it's gonna be amazing.
Muff?
Talk about potential problems with nose candy. What are we getting involved with this for? MMA Junkie.
It's gonna be amazing.
It's going to be interesting. There'll probably be no drug tests. So
Oh, absolutely not.
All right, moving on to tennis, our favorite sport on the show. Serena Williams ends a brilliant career, but doesn't get the ride off into the sunset that everyone had hoped for. Losing in the US Open, but don't let that distract you from the epic career that includes 6 US Open titles, 3 French Open championships, 7 Australian Open championships, 7 Wimbledon titles, 73 singles titles, 14 Grand Slam doubles championships, and a 4-time Olympic gold medal. AP Female Athlete of the Year 5 times, and 2010's Female Athlete of the Decade. Where does Serena rank in your top athletes of all time? Now, keep in mind, to list her accolades, I had to stop and take a breath.
She's top 5
In female athletes or all athletes?
in all athletes.
yeah, I give her top 10 status of all athletes as far as what she's been able to do, not only within her sport, but also outside of her sport, promotion of the sport, and helping, I think, bring more women to the game, more girls to the game. I think her and Venus had a huge influence over that, especially at a time right now, just like we said, if you said Serena and Venus are no longer part of the game, who else do you know?
Yeah, no, she
Coco
did say
Gauff,
it was
maybe.
sweet.
That's about it.
Yeah, it was sweet. She said that there would be no Serena without Venus. She didn't give a shout out to her sister.
Yeah.
She said all that. Uncle Rod, thoughts on Serena Williams?
I'm with you. Top 10 athlete of all time, male, female. Just an absolute. Heard a lot of things, obviously, over the last month, just about this being her last tournament, and just really made me stop and reflect about like how much she changed sport, not just tennis, but sport altogether. So yeah, top 10.
I'm going to stick with my take of I wouldn't want to get hit with her tennis racket. Oh, side note, and an incredible stat to her longevity, August 29th, 2001, Serena Williams wins at the US Open. Albert Pujols hits a home run. Vlad Guerrero Sr., Craig Biggio, and Dante Bichetta all record a hit. In August 29th, 2022,
21 years later. 21 years later.
Serena Williams wins at the US Open. Albert Pujols hits a home run. Vlad Guerrero Jr., Kayvon Biggio, and Bo Bichette all record a hit. So basically, she was still playing, and all these people's kids got a hit.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they were talking
What
about
a
it
good
online.
stat.
Yeah, like
This speaks to pool holes as well. You
Right,
got
because
great-
he's still playing.
Yes. Oh, yes. I was gonna say you're right. I should because we talked earlier about Pujols is going for his 700 home runs and how we aren't talking about that enough. He doesn't have enough drama behind him.
Yeah. Nobody thought he would last.
the steroids.
Nobody thought he'd last
Well,
this
nobody
long.
nobody thought he would last throughout that contract he got way back when.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
It was a pipe dream.
Yep.
But that wraps up this week's quick thoughts.
It does, and brings us to the end of this week's episode. Again, this is Monday, August 5th. Well, September 5th, 2022. This is NFL football season starting this Thursday. Get excited. Betting show coming out this Thursday as well. Keep sharing, liking, getting all your friends involved. Let us know if there's anybody else you want to see on the show. Get us connected with other people in the sports world, because if we continue to do this, things will go well. I don't know. Are we going to the moon? We still going to the moon? We going to Mars?
Yep.
Where are we headed?
Wherever you want to go, Bob.
In the stratosphere. And to make all of that happen, you have to tell a friend, make a friend, be a
Uh,
friend.